Alright, so I want to take you guys through this, and I want to show you how this is exactly what has happened, not pertaining to only a country and a nation, but to the church, to the knowledge of God, and to the knowledge of the Bible. And so let's get started here.
Our conversation is with Mr. Yuri Alexandrovich Bezmenov. Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. The Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion. What do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided into 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students.
Well, how do you demoralize people? You take away the Bible, you say it's a bunch of myths, and you say that there is no God, and that there are no real objective morality, moral right and wrong rules. And so you take out God, take out Jesus. And what have we been seeing for the last, 30 years, 40 years? The rise of evolution, the Big Bang, atheism. It's exactly what's been happening.
In the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxist-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream such a tremendous success. Most of it is done Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him.
Do you hear that? Doesn't matter how stupid, how ridiculous the Big Bang is, how ridiculous evolution is, how all that stuff is just ridiculous. It doesn't matter.
With information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures. Even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragedy of the situation of demoralization. So the next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take on up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in 1968, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all the schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put big brother government in Washington, D.C. with benevolent dictators like Walker and Bale.
See, the way I would look at this biblically, is that they take away all the morals, all the right and wrong, all the way that people are supposed to be, and then that is normalized. Not speaking about the money situation in an economy, I'm speaking about the moral, biblical situation in a country. The normalization of things. Eventually, people think that everything is A-okay the way it is, and it's completely opposite of the way that things are supposed to be, according to God.
Will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan.
See, another thing is all these Bible versions, literally hundreds of Bible versions. And when this was happening, there were men that spoke out against all these changes that they were doing to the Bible, creating all these new versions. There were men that spoke out against this throughout the ages. But where we are today, it's accepted. It's normalized. It's not uncommon to go to a church and hear something preached out of one version of a Bible, and then go to another church and have something preached out of another version of the Bible, while taking things out of context because they say something different. But it's normalized now. That's why I don't have debates or discussions with anybody who doesn't use a King James Bible, because there's no point. There is no point. Their Bible can literally say something different and mean something different, but it's normalized. Just like all the different practices of all the different sects of Christianity. It's all normal. No problem here. We all practice our own little root of Christianity, and then we all have coffee together at the end of the day. It's normalized, and it's not supposed to be like that. But you do that by changing the entire Bible, by making it normal to have all different kinds of practices, like everything's accepted. Kind of what has happened in the Christian world is we accept all stuff out of whatever Bible, is kind of what's happening in the secular world, where it's acceptance of everything and acceptance of all manner of behavior. We're almost there. I'm not condemning anybody, but I'm just saying we're almost there.
First there was Raki, he was killed by Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrade. It's the same pattern everywhere. It's divided into the 4 basic stages: demoralization, destabilization, crisis, normalization. They will be lined up against the wall and shot.
So there you go. But really, with all that, what has to be at the base of that, the way that they are doing all of that, is through the diminishing of God and of black and white objective morality. You heard him say it. Demoralization comes first. The first thing out of everything. And the way you do that is you get rid of God, the true God, and you get rid of his word, the true word, the King James Bible. You make him say all different kinds of other things in all different kinds of Bibles, and you bring in all other different kinds of gods and all other gods. And that is the first step. And we're here. They have done it. They are doing it. And there you are.